Let us all welcome our President, Marty Biran, for the call to order.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we will have our fifth regular meeting for 2026. And in this hot month of April, what can we think of? But tonight, we'll also have a hot exchange of ideas, ideas that will ignite our minds, ideas that will heat up the evening. Yes, and we have tonight a slew of our distinguished Toastmasters. We have also, again, our faithful Meycauayan Toastmasters. And tonight, we will be in for an evening of learning and fun. So, as the president, as vested to me by the Toastmasters International and as president of the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, I now call this meeting to order. And before anything else, let us bow our heads in prayer. Let me lead. Lord, we thank thee for this occasion. This is not just a meeting. This is not just a social meeting, but a meeting that will really sharpen our minds. And in doing so, Lord, we hope that your, as the fountainhead of wisdom, will be glorified through our exchanges of ideas and dishing out of learning. Thank you, Father, and bless this evening. Thank you for the availability of each one. Yes, God, we ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
And now let us recite the Toastmasters promise. Let us raise our hands. As a member of
A member of
Toastmasters,
Toastmasters International Club,
To attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to the club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Back to you, President Mar.
yes. Nowadays, you should be feeling the heat, which is at record temperature. Tonight, we will continue to have our meeting ignited with a lot of ideas. But as we, to beat the heat, what do we think? What do we have in mind? We usually think of halo-halo and all of this refreshment. And one of this is lemon. Why not turn lemon into lemonade, as we might have heard that? And tonight, it will be, that topic will be highlighted by our Toastmaster of the evening, no less than our hardworking Vice President for Education, distinguished Toastmaster Mark Edrada. How about a big hand for our VPE?
Thank
Yeah.
you, President Mar. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and of course, our honored guests. Have you experienced that new car smell? It's the scent of success, of a dream realized, of a smooth ride ahead. But what happens when that new car smell quickly turns into a scent of burning rubbers and expensive repair bills? In the world of consumer rights, we call that a lemon. And tonight, we are diving into a theme that protects our pockets and our peace of mind, the Lemon Law Philippines. Fellow Toastmasters, I am your Toastmaster of the evening, Mark Edrada, and welcome to the family that keeps up and looks further in learning more. This is Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. For those who are not familiar, Republic Act number 10642 or the Philippine Lemon Law protects consumers who purchase brand new motor vehicles. If your car has a defect that remains unresolved after 4 repair attempts by the manufacturer, you have the right to a full refund or a replacement. But tonight, we are not just talking about cars. We are talking about standards. Here in Toastmasters, we don't want lemon speeches or defective evaluations. We are here to ensure that our communication is high performance as a luxury sedan fresh off the lot. To our guests, let me take you to our dealership, known as the history of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. The Meycauayan Toastmasters Club was chartered in 1991 by our chartered members and mentors, distinguished Toastmasters Christine Temblique and Dana Palinga, and Toastmasters Mike Rodriguez and Mariner de Guzman. Our club also produced 5 distinguished Toastmasters, and of course, counting, and a number of champion speakers and leaders. And before we start our engines, let us meet the pit crew who will ensure our meeting runs without any mechanical failures. To make sure we don't stall on stage, let us welcome our resident mechanical engineer himself, our time evaluator, Toastmaster Jeff.
Good evening. Thank you for the introduction, distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Hello, everyone, distinguished Toastmasters, and if we have guests. Good evening. So I'm your timer and as well as your grammarian for tonight's meeting. So as a grammarian, I will be the one to take note of the language germs and gems on your speeches. So I'll take note of that and I'll put it on my report as well as the timer. I'll have to check if you are following the time allotted per speech or per your rule. So please take note of your time. As for the table topics, so you have 2 minutes for prepared speech evaluation. You have 2 to 3 minutes. For 2 minutes, I will flash green on my screen, yellow for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and 3 minutes for overtime. Or you have allotted 3 minutes, you have gained 3 minutes for that prepared speech evaluation. And then for prepared speeches, it depends on the project, which usually lasts for 5 to 7 minutes. So as well as for the technical evaluations, the language evaluation, fame, and time, we have 2 to 3 minutes. So I would like to introduce the word of the night, which is lemon law. So dear fellow Toastmasters, what is lemon law? Lemon laws are laws that provide a remedy for purchases of cars and other consumer goods in order to compensate for products that repeatedly fail to meet the standards of quality and performance. So for example, thanks to the state's lemon law, she was able to return her defective new car and receive a full refund or compensation, or she was able to receive the claims she applied to. So, dear everyone, I'm challenging every one of you to use our word of the night, lemon law, for 10 times because we are 10 here in the Zoom meeting. So I'm challenging you at least one per participant to say our word of the night. So thank you everyone, and I'll return back the control to you, our distinguished Toastmaster Mark Andrade.
Thank you for that comprehensive introduction, for the time evaluation and the language evaluation and the word of the night. Now, to check for those engine rattles in our speech, please welcome our feelers and motions evaluator or FAME, our new Toastmaster, Joreen.
Good evening, everyone. Good day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the feelers and motion evaluation is to note the words and sounds that are used, such as the crotch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. So during the meeting, I will listen the overused words, including the and, well, but, so, and you know. And also for the filler words such as er. And I will also note the motions such as the hand gestures, the eye contact that we also doing in front of the camera, and also how we use our hands in expressing our thoughts properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joreen. Now that that inspection is over, it's time for the table topic segment. I like to call this the test drive of communication. You are given a topic, you hop into the driver's seat, and you have to navigate the road without any map. Will you drive smoothly? Or will you find out your impromptu skills as a bit of a lemon? In this portion, we are trained to speak extemporaneously yet smoothly. This session will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Feby Pendon. Our table topics master's favorite part of having her own car is that it serves her third space. I am now curious what the first and the second spaces are. She decompresses in her car before shifting into her different role in life. But why does she decompress in her car? And what roles are these in her life? I think it needs more explanation for her in this session. To explain more of it and to lead the segment, let us hope our table topics master, Toastmaster Betshine.
Wow, thank you very much, our Toastmaster for tonight, DM Mark Edrada, for that wonderful and up-to-date introduction. In my car, I decompress. It's my third sanctuary. Why? Before I ship into any role from my home and going to work, I shift myself and I leave all my problems at home and become a manager in my own company. That's why I need to decompress inside my car. Then after that, before I go to another place, I decompress again in the car, in shifting my personality whenever I'm with my friends. So I leave it as that. So our topic tonight in table topics is very interesting. I know that some of us here don't have car problems. We only have maybe financial regrets with tires. So don't worry, I won't name names. You know, when you buy a car, some of us just post it online and say it's another blessing. But after maybe a week or more, you're now finding yourself browsing in YouTube. Why is my car wiggling or shaking? Why is that there is a highlighted symbol on my dashboard? Wow, everybody, I guess everybody who owns one experienced that once in your lifetime. In the Philippines, we actually have that protection. It's called the Philippine Lemon Law. It's the RA 10642. It's which basically says if your car is a scam in disguise, you don't just suffer, you can actually complain legally. This is a very powerful concept, and some of us should try that in relationships too. Can I share my I have prepared some pictures for you for volunteer participants in my dashboard, in my can I share now? Laptop.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I have 3 cars and a bonus question. Who wants to volunteer? These are very easy questions. You have a minute or two to explain. Can I call one? Or wants to volunteer? No. So may I call? Yeah, can I call Sir Danilo? Are you ready? Can you hear me? Am I? Oh, let's call another one. He may not have heard me. Can I call Chris? Can you volunteer for us?
Sure.
I cannot. Chris, choose one.
I'll choose number 3.
Number 3. Number 3. For number 3, TM Chris, this is your question. You're driving away from a breakup. What song is blasting in your car and what's your mood? Toastmaster Chris?
Nangihinayang ang puso ko sa piling mo
Wow.
nasaktan lamang kita. Nanghihinayang is a song from Jeremiah, which is a very unforgettable song for me because it is one of the song played in One More Chance from John Lloyd and Bea Alonso's movie. I'm sure you know that. And it is also one of our favorite movie whenever my siblings and I wanted to watch a Filipino movie at home. Just a trivia, I haven't really had any breakup because my husband is my first boyfriend. So I don't know how it feels. Although I do have some what we call now situationships before, what the Gen Zs call, and some other flirting relationships. But a breakup, not really. But I think the Nangihinayang song from Jeremiah is the perfect song because I would like that person to realize what loss it is that he will let go of me if he decided to break up with me. So yeah, I don't want that to happen in the future because I'm already married, but maybe in a parallel universe, I would like to sing that song and inside my own car while it's raining, the same in the movie, and singing My Heart Out Loud, Nanghihinayang by Jeremiah. Over to you, Toastmaster Betchay.
Wow. You have such a very good voice, Toastmaster Chris. I'd love to hear the whole song next time. So may I call another volunteer? Toastmaster Mar, choose your perfect match. What car?
Let
I couldn't hear.
me answer two. The second car.
Okay. For Toastmaster Mar, here's your question. If your defective car could talk, what excuse would it give every time it breaks down? Toastmaster Oscar, if your defective car could talk, what excuse would it give every time it breaks down? The
I
floor
think
is for you.
is it for me?
Ay, Toastmaster Mar.
Oh, sorry.
Fellow Toastmasters, I chose to volunteer because for this segment, although I have never had a car because I want to enrich my extemporaneous imagination. If my defective car could talk, one of the excuses that I imagine is because the wear and tear that we do not see could be evident, could be subtle. Maybe a lot of things are taking inside the car, and one of those is the the changing terrain of the road. Another is that there has been some aspects that have not been checked, and that's my fault. Another is that the cars right now that are usually flashy may have what I call redhibitory defect, as those who have taken accounting or contracts and obligation, hidden defects. So, in other words, some of the cars that have been made may certainly have even a percent that is not actually up to excellent, or maybe I would I would refuse to think, but maybe some cars are not planned to be 100% excellent all the time. I return the control back to you. Um, TOS TTM, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mar. Truly, we do have some protection from sales and obligation, from hidden defects uh, law. That's truly wonderful. Thank you very much for your input. May I call, since I heard the voice of our our very prestigious member, TM Oscar, can you volunteer for us for the last
Sure.
question?
Of course. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Here's your question. Which one is worse, a toxic relationship or a lemon car? Toastmaster Oscar?
I think it would be a lemon car because a toxic relationship can be corrected through patience, humility, and probably second chances. With a lemon car that runs awry all the time when I travel, I always travel. So when I travel far and wide, I need a reliable partner in life, but I mostly need a reliable car to run smoothly all the way down from point A to point B. Not because I have had toxic relationships before. I never had any toxic relationships in the past. But a toxic relationship is a lot better than a lemon car because it may not run smooth all the time, but when you correct it and check it and bring it back to the dealership, you save a lot of money on roadside assistance as well. Back to you, Toastmaster Betchay.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Oscar. You are quite lucky you never experienced a toxic relationships, but others have so much more. And tonight we have learned something new, that not all lemons are fruits. Some are relationships, and some cars with emotional damages. But thanks to the Philippine lemon law, we are reminded even bad investments come with legal options.
Yes.
And in life, we may not always avoid lemons, but at least now we know when to say refund, no more extensions. Back to you, Toastmaster Mark.
Wow, thank you, Toastmaster Betchay. The test drive is over. Did the speakers drive their communication smoothly, or did they hit the brake abruptly? Our table topics evaluator is a two-time distinguished Toastmaster, a three-time Division L Toastmaster of the Year, and the President's Distinguished Awardee in multiple leadership roles: Club President, Area Director, and Division Director. Her influence extends beyond District 75, serving as a global club builder, mentor, and coach across Singapore, California, Texas, and Australia. From a silent grassroots worker to a recognized superior performance achiever with multiple awards in corporate and professional circles, her journey reflects transformation, service, and excellence. She brings to Toastmasters a tested package of strategic leadership, mentorship, communication, compliance, global perspective, innovation, and service-driven leadership, all aligned with the mission of growth and empowerment. Now, she is rising up in District 75 as one of the nominees for the Club Growth Director position. To her, convenience is her most favorite part of owning a car. And did you know that she had a personal experience in purchasing a lemon car? Interesting. And let's hear more of it from our outright table topics evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster, Freddy Pendon.
Good day, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening, and thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Mark, for this privilege. We just chatted earlier, and I'm glad I'm here now. Thank you so much. We'd like to thank our Table Topics Master, Bichai, for leading an interesting table topics. I didn't realize how easily you can switch from a lemon car, lemon law, to relationships and so forth. So am I going to evaluate now? DTM, Mark? Yes. Going back to our first speaker, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing with us. How nice to hear your voice, naghihinayang song. And what a contrast to what had been asked from you. You were asked to share your experience of having a breakup, but apparently you didn't have a breakup. And how you said that is more of giving an advice. May I also share with you an advice as an observation for you to improve on your table topics speaking? Given a limited time, I only have one recommendation for you. one commendation. So my recommendation is for you to treat table topics as if you are giving a mini speech with an introduction, with the body of your speech, maybe highlight 3 points that you want to share. For example, learning from a breakup. And maybe you can give a contrast from based on other people's experience, what it means to have a breakup. And in your case, you didn't have a breakup. Maybe you can highlight the benefits of no breakup at all. And then your conclusion, in essence, you are giving a mini speech. We move on to our second speaker, President Mar. And thank you for sharing with us that you never had experienced a lemon car and that you have given us your own reasons why you prefer not to have that, because you shifted right away to having an excellent time, being able to enjoy some aspects of your life. You don't have to worry about driving a car in traffic and all that, and that you just have to focus on what you needed to do. And thank you for sharing with us. Again, I would like to repeat the idea of looking at your table topics as a mini speech. In an advanced club that I belong, we are given 1 minute to deliver a keynote. So can you imagine how that is? And you have to do that in 1 minute. So this time we have 2 minutes to be able to deliver a mini speech. So that's one thing I'd like to recommend for you, where you will also have an introduction, your body of the speech, and then your conclusion, where you also can give a call to action for the audience. And moving on to Toastmaster Oscar, and which one is worse? Wow, seldom can you hear people saying that it's better to have a broken things or broken car rather than a broken relationships, because other people's broken relations are more toxic. But in your case, I assume that you didn't really have a toxic relationship, and you have highlighted, that was impressive. You highlighted patience and humility as a character that would preserve a relationship. That's why you don't probably have the toxic relationship, because you are patient and you are humble and you are always giving a chance. And there you see, you have given us some tips on bringing a car where you are confidently driving for safety, and that you are saving more money for roadside assistance for doing that. Once again, take a look at how you can improve your speech by having a mini introduction. Say, for example, have you experienced being having an overheat while driving because you failed to your car, and then you move on to saying, I have this time when I have a heated argument with my wife, and
Uh,
then because of my patience and humility, I've been able to resolve it, and I gave a second chance. So that could be one thing you can do, and then you proceed to your conclusion. Then you challenge us to be more patient and to be more humble in our relationships. So that's just an example that I can think of in line with what you have shared with us. But then again, for everybody, would like to encourage us to take our table topics as though we are giving a mini talk. And at this point, I would like to share what I have learned from my speech coach. A simple guideline in doing table topics is CARE. C for connect. Connect with your audience once you deliver your speech. So either by a question, by a quote, or by a story. And then you move on to A, which is your answer or address the prompt, where you can utilize various table topics patterns, which actually could have been given by our table topics master, but maybe she just forgotten it because she has a lot of things to share. But Bichai, please remember to give the table topics patterns as usually done in Philippines. So A, and then think of the various table topics pattern, which I believe you have already discussed that in the past. And R for make a story relatable. How will you make it relatable? So for example, we're thinking about lemon law, but you have made it relatable by sharing personal experiences, and that's very good. And now, E for engage. Engage your audience when you close your table topics. So thank you very much for giving us your stories. And I would like to remind our table topics master to give us a bit of orientation, especially if we have a guest. Your orientation on what is table topics is like an extemporaneous speaking and the time that you need to deliver your speech and the table topics patterns. And probably you can give an example on how to deliver a table topics patterns by asking a person who is good at table topics. Overall, our table topics was interesting and I love the topics that you asked us. Thank you so much and congratulations to our table topics master and to our table topics speakers who are courageous. Congratulations, everyone. Back to you, our back to you, our Toastmaster of the evening. Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Mark.
Point of order, you're muted,
Yes.
DTM Mark.
Okay. Bravo, Toastmaster Feby. And now we have survived the test drive. Now we enter the showroom. These are prepared speeches. These members have spent weeks polishing their narratives, tuning their delivery, and ensuring their message is road ready. Unlike a lemon car, these speeches have been repaired and refined in rehearsals many times over. When our first speaker was younger and adventurous, his car was a tool in exploring places far and wide with his friends, family, and his loved one, Tito Ed. To him, there was no dead end to where he wanted to go, and each trip marked wonderful experience and lasting memory. Now that he is older and his family has grown and some friends have drifted and Tito Ed has passed, his car is his special place to reminisce and recall the happy memories. Imagine this. He just sits there inside, reclines his seat, no music, no phone, just him and his memories that makes him feel good. And as we have his joyride in his core memory, let us hear from him for his speech. Our first speaker will deliver her speech from the Motivational Strategies Path Level 1.1, the Icebreaker. The purpose of her speech is to introduce himself to his fellow Toastmasters. The time allotted for his speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Mar. So Toastmaster Mar, are you ready to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Oscar? All right. To deliver her speech or to deliver his speech entitled Manage Your Expectations, let us all welcome Toastmaster Oscar.
I once considered buying a car, my very first. I was promoted in the office, and part of the perk was a car plan. I got so excited, I asked friends for leads, friends and family for places where I can find a car. And finally, I found the perfect listing. 1981 Mitsubishi Lancer, brand new. Yes, Jeff, you heard it right. 1981. Marie Chris, way before most of you were even born, I was already planning on buying a car. So I went to the dealership, and then a guy with a big smile on his face actually approached me and welcomed me into the garage and said, "Do you want to test drive it?" I said, "Of course I want to test drive it." So I settled myself inside the car, put my foot on the pedal, and then zoom. I went out and had a good time. At the beginning, it was smooth ride all the way. After 2 blocks, the air conditioning went off. Oh my goodness. It was so hot inside the car that I had to roll down the window. Back in the day, it's roll down, not push button. So I roll down the glass window, but the glass window won't work. First red flag. So I drove a little bit around the corner, and when I decided to go back to the garage, the engine make a little weird sound that sounded like an angry goat. Eh, eh. Red flag number 2. So I stepped up to the car, and the same salesman was right in front of me, hoping for a deal or hoping for a clinch. Do you like the car, sir? Are you going to buy the car? I said, I'll think about it and I'll call you. But did I call him? Did I buy the car? Of course not. That car was a lemon. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends and guests. That car buying episode taught me an important lesson in my life, that sometimes our expectations are kind of like overpowering. And learning from those experiences and managing life expectations can be a life-changing experience. And to think that we do it all the time, not just with cars, but with people. We expect other people to show up polished, prepared, motivated, and aligned with our standards. Sounds familiar? Yes, Toastmasters expect people to be prepared all the time. But when those things don't happen, frustrations creep in and disappointment follows. Sometimes even long-time friendships fall off. And in the workplace, sometimes we hear these words, and you don't want to hear this, you're fired. But here is the hard truth, fellow Toastmasters. Sometimes it's not about others not being at par with you. Sometimes the issue is that we set our expectations way too high, unrealistic, and sometimes unreasonable to begin with. I'd like to go a little further. Sometimes we are not at par with ourselves either. I have those moments when I felt like I have expected people to follow, when at the end of the day, I think I have not even led. Sometimes I expect people to become more of like realizing and assuming clarity for myself, when in fact I have not given clear directions. Sometimes I creative environments where incentives are not sincere or safe. In other words, fellow Toastmasters, I was blaming the car for not performing very well. But the truth of the matter is, I was not prepared to drive that car in the first place. And that is the same with leadership, my friends. Leadership is not about demanding more from people or from others. It's about understanding them better. When we adjust our expectations, we don't normally or traditionally lower our standards. We align them with reality. And we start people not for what we want them to be, but for what they truly are. In the end, that shift changes our moral values and everything that builds patience, empathy, and sometimes surprisingly, that change begins results and builds better results. Now, let me be clear with that. This does not mean that we settle for less. It means being more insightful and becoming more intentional with your decision. Buying that Mitsubishi car was almost a perfect decision for me. It actually quenched the thirst for me for something exciting, something new in my life. But at that particular point, impulsive or being impulsive was not the answer. So, fellow Toastmasters, when we buy a car, we don't only think about the glossy paint or the modern trims. We look under the hood. We always expect that the car will run smoothly, effectively all the time, we go just beyond the description and hope for the best. The same applies to people and leadership. We need to set clear expectations upfront, communicate our ideas consistently, and importantly, hold ourselves accountable for what we do. Because leadership starts with ownership of responsibilities. And yes, there will be moments when we think we have not met those expectations. Fine. That is life. That is people. That is every lemon car moment we ever had in our life. But instead of frustrations, we can choose growth, move along, hoping that something more special is coming along our way. Stop expecting perfection from yourself or from others because you don't base it on the gloss of perfect skin when clarity, patience, and leadership are what we really need. When we manage our expectations wisely, we just don't avoid disappointments. We create better outcomes and strong relationships, and in the end, a higher version of ourselves. And at the end of the day, it's not about finding that perfect person or that perfect situations. Lemons will always be part of our lives. But what matters most is how we navigate and use this lemon in search for better opportunities. We need lemons to see ourselves transform into that kind of person who can turn imperfections into meaningful progress. Fellow Toastmasters, are you in excellent condition? Do you run smooth? Do you have this minor cosmetic wear? These are questions we sometimes ask of ourselves. But who cares? You are a lemon at some given point in your life. Fine. But remember, life is a continuous process of transformation. Just live it, and you will get there. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you for your speech, Toastmaster Oscar. Indeed, life is a continuous process of transformation. So we should stop expecting perfections from ourselves, from others, and especially from your own car. Because nobody's perfect. And if you expect perfection, then you will be frustrated. Thank you once again, Toastmaster Oscar, for that wonderful speech. And now, to introduce our final prepared speaker for tonight, let us all welcome our illustrious Deputy Vice President for Education, Toastmaster Chris.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Just to share with you that in line with our topic tonight, although I do not have a car yet, let me share with you my favorite part of having our own vehicle. Chino, short for cappuccino, is our first ever motorcycle that my husband and I bought this year. Aside from liking its design and functionality, one of the reasons why we love our vehicle is because it gets us into places where we want to be, especially during family time or emergencies. It also greatly helps us in lessening our commuting or transporting expenses. After 1 to 2 months, we haven't seen any lemons, and we're praying we do not see anything yet aside from the rising oil rates as of the moment. Anyway, allow me to introduce our last speaker for tonight. Delivering his speech under Speech Project Level 2.3 Introduction Toastmaster Mentoring under the Visionary Communications paths with the purpose of to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring to be delivered within 5 to 7 minutes. Allow me to let us all welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Mark deliver his speech, The 2% Connection, and will be evaluated by Distinguished Toastmaster Donna Palinga. The 2% Connection, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark, the 2% Connection.
Why did you sign up for Toastmasters? It is the quintessential icebreaker. We have all asked it, and we've all answered it. Fellow Toastmasters, 14 years ago, when I first joined this organization, my friends asked me that very question. Why did you sign up for Toastmasters? My answer was simple, direct, and perhaps a little bit arrogant. Because I want to speak. I love being a public speaker. My passion for the podium didn't start in a boardroom or a classroom. It started at a funeral. When my grandmother passed away in my early 20s, my family, noticing my knack for writing, asked me to deliver the eulogy. I complied. I stood up. I spoke. And I felt a spark. It was recorded on an old Nokia phone, a piece of lost media nowadays. But after watching that grainy footage, I turned to my relatives and said, I want to deliver more eulogies. But there was just one logistical problem. For me to get that more stage time, my loved ones had to keep dying. Since serial funeral speaker wasn't a sustainable career path, and physical death is generally frowned upon as a hobby, I found a safer alternative. Toastmasters. In 2012, I walked into Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. It was not what I expected. Honestly, it was weird. I expected polished English. But they were speaking deep Tagalog. I expected formal oratory. But they were doing a segment called Kahit Ano Pwede, where the anything goes master throughout Filipino riddles. Being competitive and completely unknown, I started shouting out the answers from the back of the meeting room. Then the Toastmaster of the evening called the prepared speech portion the meat of the meeting. But the meat that night was someone reading a story from the old interpretive reading manual. I sat there, staring at the exit door behind me, wondering if I could slip out unnoticed. But I stayed. My mantra, okay lang mapahiya, hindi naman nila ako kilala. By the end of that meeting, I didn't fall in love with Toastmaster right away. Not 100%. But I felt a solid 2% connection. And in this organization, 2% is enough to keep you coming back. That 2% grew because I became everyone's protege. My mentors taught me how to trim that filler words, how to weave a soul into a story, and how an average person can become immortal through the sentences they leave with an audience. They groomed me from a guest to a club president, an area director, and eventually a distinguished Toastmaster. For 14 years, I have been the mentor. I have stood at the front guiding others. But here is the secret I've learned. I'm still a protege. Life in Toastmasters is a never-ending cycle of learning, unlearning, and relearning. I love mentoring, but I find just as much joy in being mentored. I haven't pursued the role of a division director yet, but when my division directorship comes into play, I would definitely need mentorship. But my personal decision to be a division director will happen when I can prioritize the organization next to my family. My desire to deliver eulogies has faded. Thankfully, my family is much safer now that I have a lectern, a camera, a podium behind every week. My life has shifted from a person seeking a spotlight to a leader seeking to shine that light onto others. Fellow Toastmasters, especially those of you who have been here for years, why did you sign up for Toastmasters? If you think you've reached the pinnacle of success here, think again. As long as the world keeps on changing, we remain students because life is a never-ending cycle of learning, unlearning, and relearning. You may be a mentor today, but tomorrow, you will find yourself as a protege once more. Just in a different form, a different shape, and a different intensity. Back to you, Toastmaster Chris.
Thank you for that wonderful speech, Toastmaster Mark. I think one thing that I wanted to highlight is whenever we join a club or a group, we always expect that it's going to be a perfect one, right? we assume that everyone there is already delivering good speeches and such, but little did we know, me as well, same when I joined the Meycauayan Toastmaster Club, I thought the same, but as we go on, I realized that the purpose of the club is really to help each other grow together. So thank you for sharing your that wonderful speech. All right. Before we proceed to our general evaluation, we will now then transition to one of our program today, which is the Mark's Remarks presents the Club Growth Director interview. This will be facilitated by our distinguished Toastmaster, Mark Edrado. Back to you, distinguished Toastmaster Mark.
Hello once again. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to Mark's Remarks Presents the Club Growth Director interviews. We all know that our guests for tonight are vying for the Club Growth Director position here in District 75. And we will be having them to interview a presidential interview. So now, okay, so we have Ian, Feby, and our timer, Jeff. So Ian and Feby, you are running for Club Growth Director position. And if you succeed and get the majority of the votes, you will be part of the district trio. The questions I will ask is not about you as Club Growth Director. These questions will gear into your district directorship after a couple of years. You have 1 minute to answer each of these questions. When the timer turns red, we will immediately proceed to the next question. So this is my first question. And the first one to answer this question will be Ian. So my question is, aside from a motivation to build more clubs, retain members, and develop the educational level of Toastmasters members, What is your other motivation in running for the club growth director position? Timer starts now.
Thank you. My other motivation is to make a mark in the lives of our members all over the country. Personally and professionally, Toastmasters has helped me become the person and professional I am now with the British Council, with Cambridge, and I hope to inspire other individuals that they could be better than me and even surpass me. So I hope to have that positive impact, make a mark on the lives of other people, becoming better versions of themselves, not just for themselves, but for their families and in their communities.
Right. Now, this question is for Feby. Aside from a motivation to build more clubs, retain members, and develop the educational level of Toastmasters members, what is your other motivation in running for club growth director position?
My main primary goal for running for club growth director, when eventually I'll be the district director, is for me to build a legacy and to invest on the lives of the next generation of leaders. As we are developing communication skills and leadership skills, we hope to multiply ourselves. I have been a pioneer in the rehabilitation of heart patients and has been replicated all over the country. And in the same manner, I know I could do it as well in Toastmasters to be able to establish something that will enable the next generation to enjoy it. I also have pioneered the work at the US Embassy, and it has been working. And the way I look at it with Toastmasters, I can also generate more leaders from all sectors, from all professional groups, and that's what we have. I pioneered the Nurses Toastmasters Club, and we are generating more nursing leaders as a result of
Thank you for that so much,
Toastmasters.
Feby. The second question will be answered first by Feby. For the next 3 years of your tenure as part of the district trio, how will you ensure that the district 70 how will you ensure the district 75 members that the finances of the district will still be more stable and money will be used necessarily? Timer starts now.
We have financial experts in our midst, and we can generate more consultants in the management of financial management in Toastmasters. I believe we have experts in our midst who will be able to manage that, and we will be able to generate income as a result of proper investment. And we're able to help out the next generation. We will have advisors from the past leaders down below who are really dealing with investing, with financial management and operations management, and that we will be able to handle our finances in District 75. We will invest on projects that will generate income, and that we will be able also to invest on projects that will build up the next.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster TP. The question is for Ian. For the next 3 years of your tenure as part of the district trio, how will you ensure the district 75 members that the finances of the district will still be more stable and money will be used necessarily? Timer starts now.
3 things. One would be efficient spending. We will leverage economies of scale, ensuring that the way we spend money is the way we should be spending it in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Number 2, impactful generating of funds. We will be coming up with income generating projects, working closely with the different divisions to identify what projects would benefit our members and would help us generate the income that we could also then use for other projects. Number 3 is intelligent partnering. We can partner with universities, colleges, companies through CSR initiatives that would allow us to gather partnerships, key relationships, maybe sponsor members here and there to ensure that we're not just relying on the membership fees of our members, but through these partners as well. So efficient spending, impactful generation of funds, and intelligent partnering.
All right. Okay, so Let's unmute Ian and Phoebe for the next question. Let's unmute the microphones of Ian and Phoebe. Right? So, okay. So, our timer, let's reset the time. So, this is your third question. And the first to answer this question is Ian. The district convention in Palawan in 2015 was attended by 800 delegates, while the district convention in Cebu in 2025 was reportedly attended by more or less 400 delegates. There was apparently a massive decline in the 10-year comparison. Being a member of the district trio, what will you do differently to regain the number of attendance in the district convention? Timer starts now.
When I become district director in 2028-2029, I envision the district conference to be in Bicol region because it's the very first time that somebody from Bicol will be part of the district trio. One way to do it differently is to work with the youth, with universities, with the government, with LGUs, to in fact bring a mini contest, a youth leadership series, or a youth speakers league. We will also be introducing a corporate arm for the DISCON, where basically we'll have boot camps for leaders, supervisors, and so on. The idea for students, for corporates, for our existing members to be mapping out what is it that they really need, and we introduce that something that has not been done before. The idea is we're really asking what needs to be done, what do our members want, what do our prospective members want in terms of skills, and improving their personal skills. And that's what we will do when I become district director, and hopefully we will arrest or increase the numbers of our participation in that year.
Okay. This question is for Feby. The district convention in Palawan in 2015 was attended by 800 delegates, while the district convention in Cebu in 2025 was reportedly attended by more or less 400 delegates. There was apparently a massive decline in the 10-year comparison. Being a member of the district trio, what will you do differently to regain the number of attendance in the district convention? Timer starts now.
I anticipate the increase of membership by then. I have experience conducting lectures with over 1,000 audience, having conducted it in universities in Iloilo. Let's go to Iloilo and gather all the Western Visayas people who would participate in Toastmasters. You know, Western Visayas has been neglected for so long. Now it's time for us to revive that. I have been able to revive a lot of programs in the province. I have also nationally coordinated the World Congress for the nurses. I have experienced that, and I know it can be done with 3-year preparation. We can do so much. And I know you will be involved, and with your involvement, you will be able to bring in more people to our convention. Everybody bring one, and that will double the number of people coming to our convention.
All right. So let's reset the timer and please unmute the microphone of Ian for the next question. Okay. This is question number 4, and the first to answer this question will be Phoebe. In 2016 and earlier years, we had mid-year convention in October and district convention in May. Therefore, there were 2 sets of speech contests in MidCon and another 2 sets of speech contests in the DISCON. Because of that, we had sufficient time attending more educational talks. Some talks were delivered by Jonathan Yabut on professionalism from grit to great, the late Gina Mapua on tall tales, Shaq Nasino on book writing, and among others. Nowadays, the bulk of the DISCON revolves only around the 4 categories of the speech contests. For the next 3 years, what are your plans to make the convention more appealing and more compelling to members? Feby, timer starts now.
Why don't we try tall tales? I was a contestant of Tall Tales in the US. Why don't you try improv contests? Those are exciting part of the contest that we can have. We can have it mid-year and we can have another one by the end of the year. And I love educational sessions, being a faculty member of Ateneo, and they love education. I was a sports psychologist, and I love we can have sports along the way while we are having it now, and we can have varied activities, and we can have more of those kind of programs that will invite more world champion of public speaking, invite international leaders. I have done that, and we can do the same. I have gathered eight finalists
Okay.
just last November.
What's up? Okay. Okay. Can we unmute the microphone of Ian for the next question? This will be answered by Ian. In 2016 and earlier years, we had major convention in October and district convention in May. Therefore, there were two sets of speech contests in MidCon and another two sets of speech contests in the DISCON. Because of that, we had sufficient time attending more educational talks. Some talks were delivered by Jonathan Yabut on professionalism from grit to great, the late Gina Mapua on tall tales, Shaq Nasino on book writing, and among others. Nowadays, the bulk of the DISCON revolves only around the four categories of the speech contests. For the next 3 years, what are your plans to make the convention more appealing and more compelling to members? Timer starts now.
It all starts with the data, DTM Mark. I will start with the member interest survey to understand what is it really that our members want and need in terms of their self-improvement. When I was division director in 2023, I started with that even before day one because I wanted to understand how many percent of the Toastmasters want to be speech contest winners, how many of them want to be better speakers. And based from what the data says, that is what will inform our set of educational materials, content to prepare. It is often said, according to research, that the demands of jobs for the future, we don't know yet. So it's very difficult to say as early as now, but I'm very sure it will be data-driven and it will depend on what our members need and want. So we're sure we're making a mark based on what they directly want and need to be better leaders and better communicators.
Okay. This final question will be first answered by Ian. Our future is the output of our past and present decisions and actions. What was that past decision and action that makes you what it takes to be our club growth director? So, Ian, please unmute your microphone and timer starts now.
I have a track record of commitment, service, and excellence. Area Director of the Year, Division Director of the Year, Toastmaster of the Year, and Toastmaster of the Year again, serving in the Philippines, in Saudi Arabia, and in Qatar. Commitment is showing up even when it's difficult, even when it's hard. And I have shown just that. Even if times were difficult during the pandemic as an area director, as a club growth director, when 3 of my clubs died, I was able to charter 5 clubs and even charter and support other clubs all over the district. It's commitment, it's service, it's also planning and execution. I don't just talk the talk, I walk the talk. I collaborate with teams. I have my track record professionally to support this at the British Council for 17 years and now with Cambridge University Press. I'm humbled to raise my hand up to make a mark this time for District 75, and I hope I will have your support. I'm Ian Cortez, your next Club Growth Director.
Okay, time's up. Okay, this next question or final question is for Feby. Our future is the output of our past and present decisions and actions. What was that past decision and action that makes you what it takes to be our club growth director? Timer starts now.
I've conducted more than 10 demo meetings that produce total of 8 clubs. And that I'm very happy to have. I have been, if you look at my track record in the professional side, I have already mentioned as a recipient of multiple awards, both as a nurse and as a psychologist. At the embassy, I received multiple awards. That is Superior Performance Award for 21 years, and that shows commitment. For Heart Center, having taken care of patients with heart diseases, I was mending broken hearts for 13 years. And I invested in the lives of 16, about a total of 5,000 patients and their relatives. That is commitment. I am using my talents and gifts to save lives. And that is more than just a commitment. It's giving our lives to the life of others. I invest on future of the next generation.
Okay, time's up. Teddy. Fellow Toastmasters, district officers, club presidents, and vice presidents of education watching online for this episode, vote wisely. We have here our nominees for the club group director, Ian Cortez and Feby Pendon. So let's research more about them. Vote wisely. And now let's thank you for gracing our meeting and this interview. This is Mark's Remarks presents the club group director interviews. Now, before we proceed to our general evaluation, let's have a picture taking. Okay, so our professional photographers, official photographer, Toastmaster Jeff, let's take a picture.
Hello, everyone. Please give your best smile on the count of 3. Out. Nice, Tito Oscar. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo to our future club group directors. And thank you, DTM Mark, for having this Mark remarks and having known our future club group directors. Thank you, everyone.
That's very good. Thank you so much. DTM Mark, you've done very
Kumusta
well.
Feby and Ian dito sa Mala presidential interviews?
Mas mahirap sa
Excellent.
DLC, no, Director Feby?
Yeah.
So next year, kung sino maging Vice President for Education, di ba, no? Toastmaster Chris, pahirapan natin yung tanong sa mga susunod na
Ang galing.
club directors.
Ang galing. Very good. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for this opportunity really to be known by the other presidents and vice presidents. That's so good. You put this online.
Yes.
Hello to everyone. You know, you don't see my face most of the time, unlike DTM Ian. He's a popular guy.
We will post this online. This particular segment. Okay. All right. So let's continue.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Let's continue with our program. Under the Lemon Law, a car must undergo at least 4 repair attempts before it's declared a loss. In Toastmasters, we don't wait that long. We use the evaluation segment for immediate quality control. This is where we look under the hood, check the oil, and give honest feedback to help our speakers reach peak performances. Our general evaluator joined Toastmasters in July 2017 and has taken leadership roles for different clubs and districts ever since. He was a champion table topics and evaluation contestant in the Saudi Arabian Toastmasters annual conference in 2020 and 2021. He also became a Toastmaster of the Year, an Area Director of the Year, and a Division Director of the Year. So he got all the of the year awards in Toastmasters. Aside from those awards, he was also one of the best general evaluators in the external category in Meycauayan Toastmasters Club's Diamond Goblet Awards Night 2025. Professionally, he is a regional director of Cambridge University Press and Assessment as he is driving market expansion, partnerships, and growth in Southeast Asia and Pakistan. He also managed some Southeast Asian countries, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, during his tenure in the British Council. Currently, he is making a mark and hopefully not making a dent in your car, as he is one of the nominees to be the District 75's Club Growth Director. He regards himself as a passenger princess because his father and brother never lets him drive. And everyone wants to know why. So, to lead our general evaluation session, let us welcome our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Ian Cortez.
Thank you very much to our Vice President Education, distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why my mom and my brother don't allow me to drive is every time I try to drive the car that I bought for my parents, it doesn't end up nicely. I am always on the brink of a car accident. Hence, I have become a passenger princess for everyone's safety. Ladies and gentlemen, as your general evaluator tonight, I don't think we have guests. Is that right, DTM Mark?
Yes.
Yes. I am very happy to be your general evaluator because of this one powerful and poignant reflection earlier in the meeting. In every Toastmasters meeting, nobody is ever perfect. All of us are becoming a better version of ourselves. And I remember there are guests that tell me, ay, ano ba yun? Sa Toastmasters meeting, kulang naman ang magagaling. Now I beg to differ, magaling or mahusay. And I would add, it's the continuous growth mind. B is a double D, and yet she's still here learning. DTM Mark has been a Toastmaster for 14 years, but here learning. All of us are growth opportunity. To be lead as your general evaluator, as we try not to become lemon cars or lemon Toastmasters because we want to improve and become better. We've already listened to the table topics evaluation. So allow me now to share my feedback for distinguished Toastmaster Feby. DTM Feby, you're always very encouraging, and I would always mention that as one of your glow points. Everyone, let's give DTM Feby a round of applause. I feel that whenever you give feedback, it's always very constructive, and the manner with which you deliver it is always praiseworthy, always delivered positively. Now, in terms of your grow points, DTM Feby, I invite you to look at two things. One would be the patterns. So in the same way that you invited Toastmaster Betshai to mention table topics patterns, how about maybe evaluating our table topic speakers using the patterns as well? For example, Toastmaster Chris actually attempted a point, reason, example, point, or an answer, reason, example. But the message and the point could have been enhanced. Or maybe Toastmaster Oscar gave a prep. Is there a way for us to improve that? So that's the first grow point. Second would be always remember to mention the what, why, and how. So what is the area for improvement? Why is it important? And how can we do it? How can the speaker practice that? So when you say that, okay, maybe you could improve on this, maybe explain, DTM Feby, why it's important and how can the speaker do that. Overall, you've done an excellent job as always. DTM Feby, everyone, let's give DTM Feby a round of applause.
Thank you very
Now
much.
for Toastmaster Chris, Mar, and Oscar, I hope you will allow me, I think we have the time, very briefly to just give you at least one grow point each. Is that okay? One grow point? Toastmaster Chris, thank you for your answer. I love the energy. I thought you were going to finish the whole song. I was disappointed when you didn't. I would just invite you to be mindful of a crutch and it's looking up. You're a very good speaker. I don't know if you notice that you always look up or look upwards. So I don't know if that's a tell that you're nervous or you're thinking of the next things to say. Just be mindful because without it, excellent, really good table topics. Toastmaster Mar, humor. I love your answer, and I think we're alike that sometimes we answer very head level. Past international director Dottie Du would often tell me, Ian, you're so head level. How about sometimes using humor, or how about using emotions? For example, not all cars are supposed to be perfect. Some are supposed to have hidden defects. You pause and then you elaborate. So that could be your answer for the table topics. For Toastmaster Oscar, really good reflectful answer. Maybe just please consider having a more arresting closing, Toastmaster Oscar. I felt that the ending was a bit too abrupt, and maybe giving an invitation or a closing for the audience to remember you by would take the table topics a level or a notch higher. Everyone, let's give Chris, Mar, and Oscar a round of applause. Well done. Well done tonight, definitely. Now let's move on to our prepared speech evaluators. Wow, and I think we have their work cut out for them. Let us welcome President Mar to evaluate Toastmaster Oscar's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Mar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and especially you, Toastmaster Oscar. If Toastmasters Oscar's speech can be compared to an honest-to-goodness speech to buy a car, then I would consider it as an intelligent purchase. Now, let me break down the positive points in your speech into what I can call as CAR, C-A-R. Let me let C stands for chassis, or the very body by which the car operates on. In other words, the substance. The substance was great. Now for A, accessory. It could be the embellishment or the basic elements that will make it more attractive, like vocal variety, yes. Tempered dramatization, yes. Analogy, yes, because you were able to compare it excellently with a lemon. And for R, which is roadworthiness, because you were able to lead us to navigate into your various thoughts. I could say every example accompanied by lesson, assertion accompanied by insights, and every expectation accompanied or matched against life realities. So that makes it a good car. Now, what can I say so that your speech will become extraordinary, ordinary to extraordinary? Yes, your speech was very substantive and so many details. I just suggest that you reduce the number of details in your speech. Why? It will give way to pauses. And when you reduce the number of details, chances are it will sink even deeper to the audiences. I would say that I myself would like to take notes, but I could not follow your speech. So if you will reduce the number of details, then the messages will sink deep down better. And of course, I would like to acknowledge that your ending was good because it was preceded by a assertion and then you challenged with a question. All in all, it was an excellent speech, and I congratulate you, Toastmaster Oscar. Let's give a good hand.
Thank you very much, President Mar. And I definitely could feel the pressure evaluating Toastmaster Oscar with that wonderful bow tie. Wow, it's so hard to evaluate. Toastmaster Mar, what can I say? I love the way you engaged with Toastmaster Oscar in the beginning. It's always important before we dive right into it. Well done. And number two, I love the technique. You used the acronym CAR, latching on very creatively to the topic of Toastmaster Oscar. One grow point for you, Toastmaster Mar, is around the objectives. What was the speaker supposed to have accomplished tonight? Was he supposed to introduce himself because it's his nth icebreaker, for example? Did he do just that? So be mindful of this in future. Otherwise, a really good evaluation. Toastmaster Mar, we just saw each other in Wednesday last week, I think. And I commented on time management. It's so good to note that now you did better in terms of time. So well done, Toastmaster Mar. A round of applause for him, everybody. Toastmaster Oscar, just one grow point from me, sir, is the recap of the call to action towards the end. It would be great. You're already an advanced Toastmaster. It's your nth icebreaker according to your VP Education. How about ending with that oomph and just highlight, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about blank, it's about progress. It's not about perfection. It's this. Leave with a question, with a quote. If you do this, it'll definitely elevate the caliber of your speech prowess. Thank you very much, and let's give it up for Toastmaster Oscar. Wonderful, wonderful bow tie. I'm chatting with DTM Mark. I'll probably try that next time. Now let's move on swiftly to our second evaluator. Please help me in welcoming Toastmaster Danilo to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Over to you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. I would like to congratulate distinguished Toastmaster Mark for a very intensive, very clear, and logical sequence of how to mentor Toastmasters. My point of view is really a very surprising one for me because I was with Mark for over the years and I also evaluated him in many speeches. But tonight, I only have 2 points to make Mark remember that he did good today or tonight. One, Mark, you did a very good job by telling a story about your trek, your progress, and your travel in Toastmasters. That makes you believable. Number two, you did a good job by injecting humor in your speech to convince. A funeral would always elicit very good interest because it has emotional pull. Emotions in mentoring is very important. And that emotions that you made in your story is also a drawback in your delivery. I would like to say, Mark, that when you mentor to a group or you mentor to an individual, the emotional relationship and the emotional impact that you give to that person will make you believable, that they will trust you. That's why the solution there is make your speech conversational. You are talking too fast, and at the same time, the main points sometimes you miss. So I encourage you, one, humor, two, conversational. Those two will give you a very good emotional impact to your audience. Congratulations, Mark. Back to our general evaluator.
Another tour de force evaluation. Let's give it up for Toastmaster Dan. I think one of our charter members. Is that right? Toastmaster Dan. Thank you very much. Glow points. One, I also
Not
love the way
only
you.
that, not only that, I was
Sure.
the charter president.
Oh, wow. See, charter member and charter president. And you're still here mentoring the
Congratulations.
club. Wow. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Danilo. Kudos
Yes.
on the way you engaged with DTM
Congratulations.
Mark. It's very important in doing this, we build that rapport with the speaker. Second, the recap was wonderfully done. You reminded DTM Mark humor conversation. And allow me to add, you were able to reference explicitly the speech objectives of DTM Mark. Very well done indeed. Now, in terms of areas for improvement, I honestly wasn't able to take note of anything, maybe just to always be here supporting the club as far and as long as you can, Toastmaster Dan. And thank you very much for helping DTM Mark grow even further as he prepares for his next role as division director. Let's watch out for that. Now, DTM Mark, just a couple of points. I thoroughly enjoyed that speech because I felt if you make it into two separate speeches, one would be a good inspirational speech and one would be a good humorous speech. How about beginning your speech with, ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a professional eulogy speaker. And let me tell you how it started. And then you begin that story. That's a humorous story. The other part, the more serious part, is the 2% connection now. So for me, that is both a glow point and a grow point. You could develop both materials separately and both are strong pieces in themselves. Second would be in terms of balance. So now zooming in on the speech objectives of this project, it was supposed to have talked about introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. You did a good job there. I felt if you allotted more time on that, then it would have really added richness to the discourse. Overall, well done, DTM Mark, and thank you for being a good example for all of us taking your project seriously. Now let's move on swiftly to a round of applause for DTM Mark again, everybody, and to our charter president, Toastmaster Danilo. I hope to be a charter president like you. I've now chartered two clubs and they're still alive, apart from the ones I've chartered, TM Dan, and it's always nice to be helping our clubs grow even further. So thank you. Let's move on swiftly to our language evaluator. I hope we were already able to meet his challenge. Please welcome back Toastmaster Jeff Robles.
Thank you, DTM Ian. So as your grammarian tonight, I have noticed the I have taken note of the grammar, lapses, word choices, and sentence structure. Although I haven't include myself in the report, I'm happy that for tonight's team, the Lemon Law Philippines, we are reminded that through the good use of language, it's the same as the Lemon Law that it protects the clarity of our speeches by being observant on the great use of language. So to wrap up the word of the night, I'm happy to share that there are three people that use the word of the night, the lemon law. Although one have only said lemon and not the whole word of the night, which is lemon law. But congratulations again for these three people, which are DTM Mark, TM Betchay, and TM Oscar for uttering the word of the night. Well done. So moving forward for the gems and germs of our tonight's meeting. Here are some powerful statements that stood out. We should not focus on not settling for less, but we should be intentional in our decisions, said by TM Oscar. Also, TM Oscar said, as leaders, we need to set clear expectations upfront and hold ourselves accountable to our decisions. And lastly, from distinguished Toastmaster Mark, life is an endless cycle of unlearning and learning. So these lines reflects strong thinking, clarity, and the depth of our message on how we should convey our message through delivering our speech. So excellent examples of impactful communication, everyone. So for our gems, I'm happy to report also that on my capacity that there are no major grammar lapses that I have listened throughout the whole meeting. So as we reflect on tonight's theme, the lemon law, in the same way that lemon law protects the consumer rights, language is our tool in protecting the clarity of our speech and how we deliver our message to our audience. Thank you, and I'll return back the control to Ditemian.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jeff. Do you want to proceed with the... Oh no, maybe let's listen to our fame evaluator first. Please welcome Toastmaster Joreen to share about the fillers and motions report for tonight. Over to you, Toastmaster Joreen.
Good day, everyone. I will now be presenting the results of the fillers and motions evaluation, which is shown in your screen. Based on our observation, we carefully analyzed both verbal fillers and some physical movements that we can see during the Zoom meeting. Starting with the verbal fillers, we noticed that the commonly used fillers included words such and so. Some speakers showed strong awareness and control, while others may benefit in practicing intentional pauses. Moving on to the motion and body language, this is actually where many participants performed well. For example, several participants demonstrated consistent eye contact, even if we are only looking at the camera. You've shown a consistent eye contact while you're presenting and expressing yourselves, while others effectively use hand gestures. That's why it's good to see a level of camera that we could see the hands and ensure that we could observe the hand gestures. These are clear strengths that we could contribute to in impactful communications. Overall, the groups demonstrated a good balance with motion as a clear strength and fillers as an area for improvement. With continued practice, especially in minimizing our filler words, there is strong potential for even more effective communication. Thank you.
Wow, how many times have you done this role already, Toastmaster Joreen?
This is my first time, but I practice it.
Wow, okay. A round of applause for Toastmaster Joreen once again, everybody. Now, last but not the least, let's bring back our timer, IPP Jeff.
Thank you, DTM Ian. So as your timer, my fellow Toastmaster, I take note of the allotted time on your speeches. So time discipline is important because it reflects respect for the audience, for the program, and to your fellow speakers. So here's my timers report. For the table topics, TM Chris, TM Mar, and TM Oscar are on time. Congratulations. For our table topics evaluator, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Quite over time. DTM PB. For the prepared speech For our prepared speakers, TM Oscar 9 minutes and 17 seconds overtime. DTM Mark Adrada 6 minutes and 51 seconds on time. And for evaluation portion, DTM Mar and Distinguished Toastmaster Dan are both on time. And also our filler and motion evaluator, Tim Jurin, is on time. Congratulations, guys. So to wrap up my timers report, just like the Lemon Law protects the consumers from defective vehicles, timing protects the quality of our meeting. So when we go beyond time, we risk losing the clarity on our speeches. So please be reminded that in communication, timing is everything. Thank you. I'll return back the control to distinguished Toastmaster Ian.
I love that quote, even in relationships, right, Toastmaster Jeff?
Yeah.
Now, last request, Toastmaster Jeff, if you could please time me 5 to 7 minutes, 5 green, 6 yellow, 7 red for the final general evaluators report. Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, thank you very much for having me as your general evaluator tonight. I've been speaking English in 6 a.m. because my bosses are Australians, and I'm still here speaking English at 9 p.m. What fun! I love the program. The toast was given to me well in advance, as always, by DTM Mark. Number two, welcoming guests. You were doing this even before we started. Wonderful job. The adjustments in the agenda were wonderfully done, skillfully shared by DTM Mark. And the theme, Lemon Law, I didn't know there was such a thing, or that was the name that we call itself. So thank you very much for this very educational theme once again. To distinguish Toastmaster Mark, of course, always a class act. I love the theme selection, the way you introduced the role takers. Some clubs would often just do this. Please welcome our table topic speaker or table topics master, Toastmaster John de la Cruz. And that's it. I think we deserve to go the extra mile and maybe just mention 2 or 3 lines about our speakers, our fellow Toastmasters. So well done, DTM Mark, for role modeling that. I also appreciate that, and I often see this in some clubs. The Toastmaster of the day will say, please welcome the second prepared speaker, me. And it's often so bizarre when this happens. So thank you for doing it professionally tonight, where you invited Toastmaster Chris as your deputy to introduce you. Jeff, I love the challenge tonight to have 10 times word usage for Lemon Law, and you were very creative in being the timer using the theme of the night to give your technical evaluation. Joreen, wow, everyone, I think we need to unmute ourselves and give Joreen a round of applause for that really solid technical report. Joreen, thank you and well done. Very good introduction of the role. You even had a closing. It was like you wrote your actual report and you delivered it very flawlessly. Well done. Now, I wish to leave some grow points for the club. Even if you're already an advanced club and you're already on your way to really finishing strong this Toastmasters year. For Jeff the Grammarian, given that you are all very good speakers now in this club, how about having a special challenge, not just in terms of the number of times we use the word of the night, but say, tonight, let's use similes at least 6 times. Or let's use hyperboles or exaggerations 10 times. And the idea is we're hyper-focusing on one key grammatical or literary device to make us even better speakers. Second, for Toastmaster Joreen. Now, as I've said, this is your first time, Joreen. Well done. Please give yourself a pat on the back. In future, to take it a notch higher, you don't need to go person by person onto that chart. You see, what happens when people see a table is that the eyes wander everywhere. Where will I look? on top, at the bottom, on the right, on the left, at center, unless you give us or talk us through the guide. Ladies and gentlemen, on the slide up on the right side, you will see 3 points to summarize this slide. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So you could have 3 bullets, 3 headlines, while still showing that wonderful graph to tell everyone that, hey, I was listening, and to show everyone, hey, I was here helping you improve the way you use crutches and pause fillers. Now, overall, Lemon Law, similar to defective products or maybe services that need improvement, tonight we are all Toastmasters that need improving, that need pruning or fixing, because we are always as good as our last speech. We are always as good as our last evaluation. So I hope it's not always perfection, but it's progress that we always aspire for. We continue in our journey as Toastmasters, as leaders, and I hope Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, you continue the excellent job you're doing, inspiring your members, your guests, and I think, sorry, just one final point on my behalf and DTM Feby. Thank you to DTM Mark. For everyone's benefit, Director Feby and I, we were interviewed by the District Leadership Committee. Now, tonight, DTM Mark did, I think, a ×3 or quadruple more difficult interview because he interviewed us as we become district directors. We were interviewed as club growth directors by the DLC. So DTM Mark did it 3 years ahead. So thank you for that opportunity, Toastmaster Mark. And in closing,
He made
I want
sure
to leave.
he made sure that we did not prepare for the interview.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That-
Absolutely. I want to leave everyone with this challenge. We could be somewhere else right now doing something else or doing other stuff with friends, maybe drinking beer, but we're here gathered improving our craft, becoming better speakers, better leaders. So thank you, and I hope you continue doing a good job, and let's all make a mark, helping one another be better. Every speech, every evaluation at a time. I now hand over back the floor to our Toastmaster of the evening, distinguished Toastmaster Mark.
Thank you once again, distinguished Toastmaster Ian, for evaluating our sessions for the night. And of course, distinguished Toastmaster Feby as our table topics evaluator. And in fact, it was tough not to react on your answers. Writing questions is a challenge, but reacting to your answers are even more challenging. So thank you once again for gracing our interview and for evaluating us here in Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. So fellow Toastmasters, we've reached the end of our journey tonight. The Philippine Lemon Law reminds us that we deserve what we pay for. We deserve quality, honesty, and reliability. The same applies to our lives. If you find that a habit, a mindset, or a situation in your life is a lemon, if it's broken, defective, and holding you back despite your best efforts to fix it, remember that you have the right to redress. You have the right to trade that old mindset for a brand new version of yourself. So don't settle for a lemon life. Keep striving for that high performance, pristine version of your future. I have been your Toastmaster of the evening, Mark Edrada, and let's proceed to our club announcements. To our prepared speakers, please mark your speech projects as completed right after this meeting. To our prepared speech evaluators, you may now complete and send the digital evaluation forms to your assigned speakers. Congratulations, Toastmaster Oscar, for completing the effective coaching path, and Toastmaster Rai for completing the motivational strategies path. Let us greet our Toastmaster Sedi a happy birthday this April.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sadie!
Our next educational meeting will be on April 28, 2026 at 7 p.m. with the theme, Dealing with Office Politics. As we learn to navigate office politics by fostering collaboration, managing conflicts gracefully, and protecting professional integrity. This will be hosted by Toastmaster Betchay as our Toastmaster for that evening. We will have our face-to-face educational meeting on April 18 at 2 p.m. to be held in Ben's Halo Halo in Marilao, Bulacan. The theme of our face-to-face meeting will be the Social Climbers Club. And I encourage everyone who wears something that would make you appear to be a social climber for entertainment purposes. Our face-to-face educational meetings will be done once every 2 months. See you there. Join the summer fun as we will have our Meycauayan Toastmasters Club's annual team building this May. We will post the details on our official group chat. Ihanda ang mga sarili at ang mga talumpati sa darating na taunang club level patimpalak sa pagtatalumpati sa wikang Pilipino. Ang mga kategorya sa nasabing patimpalak ay ang paksang panghapag, pagsusuri at pagpapahalaga, ang nakatatawang talumpati at ang pamukaw na talumpati. Sa mga nais na lumaban sa patimpalak na ito, mangyaring magpatala lamang sa inyong lingkod, ang ikalawang pangulo sa pagkatuto. To our viewers on our social media platform, we invite you to join us to our regular educational meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 to 9:30 p.m. This is done online via Zoom, admission is free, and follow us on our official social media accounts. For more personal and professional lessons about communication and leadership, download the previous issues of The Toast, the official e-newsletter of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Download it for free by scanning the QR code at your screen. Vehicles are one of the biggest purchases a man or woman can have. That is why it is important to be certain about the quality of this kind of property. Like the quality check in vehicles that is essential for your safety, check also the quality of your communication and leadership. This is not only for your personal and professional safety, this is also for the value you give to your stakeholders. Fellow Toastmasters, see you next meeting. I am your Vice President for Education, Mark Edrada, and this is the family that keeps up and looks further in learning more. This is Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Back to you, President Mar. Hi, President Mar, your microphone is muted. President Mar? I can't hear you.
This has been another evening, lively interchange of ideas. And we are honored that this meeting, we got to know DTM Ian and DTM Fib in a deeper way. Thank you very much. And with the powers vested in me by Toastmaster International and by the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, I now adjourn this meeting. Good evening.
Good
Good
night,
evening
everyone.
and good night, everyone.
Everyone, God
Thank you po.
bless.
Good
God bless
night. God
Bye.
bless
Everybody.
everyone.
Thank you, DTM PB,
Good
DTM
night.
Ian.
Thank you po.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you
My
po.
pleasure. I'm
And
so
Welcome.
happy to
Ingat.
have joined you.